Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Polyhedron Collider Cast, episode 181. I'm Steve Tudor.
I'm Andy Lewis.
I'm Sid Gill.
And I'm Rory Summers. Guys, I'm very excited. It's Pancake Day. I haven't had any pancakes yet. I am tempted. It is, yeah. Shrove Tuesday, Mardi Gras. So I really want to.
Mardi Gras?
Yeah, Fat Tuesday. Literally Mardi Gras.
I did
Google something.
No, that's what it meant.
Yeah, what else does Mardi Gras
makes a
mean?
lot of
Fat
sense.
Tuesday.
I thought it was just a big, massive Brazilian piss-up.
Mardi.
Carnival.
Right.
Yeah. It's Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, Shrove Tuesday.
Didn't know that.
Every
Do you
day is a
realise, I
school
think
day.
we have recorded every single Shrove Tuesday
Really?
ever.
Is that just
Yeah, because
happens to
it's
be
a
what it is?
yearly thing that we always seem to mention it's Pancake Day at the beginning of recording.
There's one for the clipboard monkey to check that.
Go back. The
He
last
doesn't need
10
to check
years worth of episodes.
So has anyone actually had any pancakes today yet then?
Nope.
No, I'm tempted to do some after we've recorded.
Oh, sad at
Wind
some
down with
lunchtime.
loads of sugar just before
There
bed.
has been double pancakes in my house today, but I've not eaten a single one.
When you say double pancakes, as in 2 helpings of pancakes, or like double pancakes as
Breakfast
in like a sandwich?
pancakes
Yeah.
and dinner pancakes were made in this household tonight.
Wow.
This
legend.
morning, I don't know what went on them. I believe it was bacon because there was half a packet of bacon left in the fridge when I got home. And this evening, it was Chinese duck pancakes.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So there has been a lot of pancakes devoured in
Were
this
they
house
crepes this morning? Were they like the big fluffy American style pancakes?
tonight. Genuinely, mate, I left
don't
the house before any other fucker in this household got out of bed
Nice.
because it's half
Right.
term and I'm still working.
Well, it is half term as well. Not having any kids, I am devoid of this information.
yeah.
Did you? Oh, and you don't commute, so you don't even notice the difference on the roads.
Yeah.
That's true. Not at the moment, I don't know. It's a great life I've got at the minute. It's brilliant. No kids, no commuting, no exercise.
No human
The only thing you're
contact.
missing now is more pancakes.
Yeah. Oh, the pancakes are just a Nutella delivery system, really, aren't they?
I am going to offer another Sid patented controversial opinion.
Here we
There we
go.
go.
I fucking hate pancakes.
Really?
hang on, right. So last time I came to your house and you insisted that I make pancakes for breakfast.
Yeah. No. Here's the thing.
You even hate my pancakes.
No.
I mean, I do great
I'm
pancakes.
happy when somebody else makes them and I get to eat them.
Oh, you
I
hate making them.
No, I
you
hate
don't
the process
pancakes.
of being anywhere near the whole situation. If somebody just puts them on a plate and sticks them in front of me, I will quite happily eat them, right? But I find them the most difficult thing to watch somebody making because they're like one at a time out of a pan, little stacks building up slowly. And I just find it such a difficult process to observe, to be involved in. So have you not noticed?
Really?
Have you not noticed, Ree, whenever you're at my house cooking pancakes, I'm nowhere to be seen.
I have noticed that, actually.
Yeah.
Now you mention it. But
That's why.
when I stay over at Sid's, I started taking my own pancake pan with me, so I can actually have multiple pancakes going at the same time.
See, that's clever. That's sensible.
Yeah.
My mum used to, when I was a child, Mum used to make Scotch pancakes on this griddle thing. So little baby ones, the little tiny
Puffy
ones.
ones.
Yeah.
Little, like almost a half crumpety type. Little
Kind
slivery
of, yeah, a
cookie
little
pan.
thinner, but yeah, that kind of thing. And she used to make them like 6 at a time, but she used to get annoyed because I used to eat them about 4 or 5 at a time.
and they're in touches on
And
the
I
second
understand your problem. They are annoying.
And
because
especially-
you can eat them quicker than you can make them.
Yeah.
The supply can't keep up with demand. We're back on Kanban, boys.
That's it. It's Kanban again. And the cooker, the person Muggins doing the cooking, right, is trying to get them out as quick as they can. And the plate is never. It's like one of those tortured things. It never fills up. You make a pancake, you land it on a plate, and it's
the
gone.
Sisyphusian pancake
It is.
dilemma.
It's gone. It has. It's been hoovered.
See, my solution to this is I've got like this big like griddle pan that's like a hot plate on one side and the griddle pan that goes over 2 hob rings. And if you do American style pancakes, I can do the entire batch in one go.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And my solution is get Rory to come and then don't be nowhere near it. And they arrive on a plate, served up with all the accoutrements ready to go.
See, we could have had that with our range. Because on top of the burners, you can put this bloody great plate. You can either have a flat one, which is obviously what you've gone for there, Steve. Where I went for the man one, where you have like the griddle, where you have the steak,
No, you
the
flip it
lumpy
over.
one.
Mine's reversible.
Oh, does it? Oh, that's clever.
It's griddle on the other side, yeah.
It's because he's in
cast iron. You can't reverse mine without a crane.
He's in the Cotswolds. He's probably got a man that comes with a thing to turn it for him. Old Jeeves comes out the fridge and just does it.
That's it, yes. Oh, well.
And there we were thinking we wouldn't have any banter for this episode, and we've had 6 minutes of pancakes.
That's how good we are.
Anyway, well, we need something joyful like Pancake Day, given how wet it's been. Don't we?
Goodness me, don't.
Well, to give you something to look forward to, we're now less than a month to Airecon.
Whoop, whoop.
Now that's exciting.
So Airecon, 12th to the 15th of March in Harrogate, or Arrogate, as Andy says.
Arrogate,
yeah. 3 of us will be there. Rory is coming to his very first Airecon.
I'm going to lose my Airecon cherry.
Is he going to cope?
Don't know. We've already got a good buzz. Actually, I was looking at the Discord server today. There's quite a few people mentioning how excited they are and already mentioning games to play. So I think people are already booking in Andy's 9 a.m. on Sunday Lacerda game.
That's
the
hangover.
The
We're
hangover
complete with
game.
hangover. Last year it was Inventions. I sat down with Frank West and Luke, and honestly, it took me 2 hours to teach it and 2 hours to play it, and none of us enjoyed that.
I don't even enjoy hearing about that. Jesus.
So yes, we're going to be there. And speaking of conventions as well, it's been announced this week that the Duncan Rhodes painting competition is returning to UK Games Expo this year.
Yes.
So,
with a new category as well.
Oh, what's the new one?
It's I can't remember the exact name of it. Bust.
That's a bit cheeky, isn't it? It's a bit
Different
racy
type of
for the
bust,
UK
Sid.
Games Expo.
No, I said not titties, busts.
Well, that's just posh titties, isn't it?
So like things like 72mm as well. So things like Andy, like you did the dwarf brewmaster.
Yes.
That would go into that category now rather than to single miniature.
Oh, it's not a bust though.
No, bust or large scale. So like,
Oh, I see.
so it's not just busts. It's large, like that kind of like display model. When people get really to the really get more like not a gaming miniature, definitely just a painting miniature.
So what would the Bane blade I'm supposed to be painting go into? That would go into vehicle, sure.
That's vehicle, yes.
Oh yeah. Bang. And there's no way I'm getting that painted by me.
That'd take up half the cabinet.
Well, it does. It's got its own section in my sideboard at the moment. It's literally 1/3 of a sideboard. Much to Alora's consternation, I might add.
Also, I'd realised as well, this is our first proper episode in about 2 months, because I think we haven't recorded like a normal episode since early December.
We haven't, no.
So there seems to be a lot of bookkeeping today. You may have noticed that we haven't mentioned Kienda at the beginning of this episode. That's because, unfortunately, Kienda are closing down. So, of course, we are no longer being sponsored by them.
Which is a shame, because they've been a great sponsor. Yeah,
They've been a good sponsor, and they've been a really good store. I mean, we did actually buy things from them. It wasn't just we weren't just using them for the sponsorship. We were actually buying games from them, and their sales were always good as well. Yep. Really quick delivery, well packaged. It's a bit of a shame that they've not been able to maintain it. So
at the moment they're having like a liquidation sale. So if you do fancy grabbing yourself a bargain, you can still head over there. Probably still get all the same great service and great packaging as Steve just mentioned, just at an even better price. But they are due to shut up shop completely in March. No date confirmed as far as I know, but very soon.
It's a good job I've got my Lacerda delivered to me, because they've been shipped to Eagle Griffin. Have been using them this year for fulfillment.
Oh really?
Oh really? Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought with that as well, we'd mention a question we had off Discord. Just because it felt like the opportune time to mention it rather than doing questions at the end. So Fran Wade asked on the Discord server, after a recent conversation on Board Game Trade and Chat, which is a Facebook group if you don't know, I wondered what do reputable board game reviewers do with their review copies?
Oh, we can't answer this one.
We'll have to find somebody that's reputable then, won't we?
Yeah. It's frowned upon to sell them, but my game space is overflowing, and the extra spots under the bed, in the eaves, under the children's beds, are all at bursting points. What do you do with the review games that won't stay in your collection? Do they get sent back, or is your furniture made out of game boxes? I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have the same problem you have.
Yeah.
They're spilling out into every available surface. They've filled this room, which is my games room. They're half filling up the spare room. There's some in the hallway, and there's even some in the garage, which I keep forgetting I've put in there. And every so often I find a box.
I wondered whether you were going to remember you've got games in your garage still.
Every so often I go, I've got a box of games in the garage. But yes, we do tend to keep an awful lot of them, don't we? I mean, if we like the game, we like. If we say we like it, it's because we like it and we keep it. We keep hold of it. We do give some games away to like friends have done stuff for us. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, we do sell some games. It's not many.
No, they are the outliers, aren't they? Yeah.
They are a bit of the outliers. And what we do with that money is that money goes basically into a kitty to look for other games that we want to review on the show that we want to get hold of. So we put that money towards that. If you think we're making money out of this, you are much mistaken, because the hosting costs for this podcast have just gone up this bloody year, and it's quite eye-watering how much it's costing me every month to host this at the moment. Well, per month it's not too bad. And you look on a yearly basis and think 10 years of it, you go, bloody hell.
This is very much a loss-leading enterprise.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, this is a passion project, isn't it? But yeah, we do sell. I sold a few last year, but then we use that, as Steve said, that goes into a kitty, and that allows us to get other games that we want to review that we've not been able to get through either publishers or through our sponsor. And so we quite fancy this game, or this game looks good. We think our listeners are going to enjoy hearing about that. Allowed us to go get that. So I think Age of Innovation was one that we reviewed last year that we liked. And that was almost funded on the sale of other games that we had sold.
So did anybody see this conversation on BG Trade and Chat then? Because I'm intrigued, because why is it frowned upon?
It's frowned upon because a lot of people think you're taking advantage and you're doing it just to make money. Get a review copy in, bash a review out, sell the game straight away, profit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with a lot of cases, if you're getting a review game, especially if you're getting it from the publisher, you might even be getting that game early, so before release date.
True.
So it can be controversial, whereby someone is selling a game more or less at the point it's out. Jesus. And then there's also an argument of what's the morale. If you say this game's brilliant,
and then you're selling it immediately,
and then you're selling your copy immediately, well, if they say things like, if Shut Up and Sit Down give a positive review of a game, that game sells out immediately, for instance.
Yeah.
So there is an argument that says, well, if you're saying this game is great and then you're selling it immediately, are you saying it's great just to recoup, get some money out of it? I mean, I will also say the games we do sell, it's usually years after we've reviewed them.
That's true, actually, when we have the occasional clear-outs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't walk through down the corridor without tripping over games in the middle of the night. Yes.
Now I am interested what other people do with them, because your houses are bursting at the seams. So does that mean every board game reviewer in the country is bursting at the seams?
We don't know.
We don't. I mean, based on people I've met, I know people who are militant. They've got one Kallax. That's their board games, and it's a one in, one out. So if they want to buy a new game, they have to get rid of another one. Saying that, I also know I've been to some people's houses who've been into board game a lot longer than me, and my house looks contained in comparison because there are board games everywhere. I mean, I walked past it. I went to go visit this chap, and I walked past down the road. He's in Malvern. In fact, it's effectively on the same road as you said in Malvern. And I knew which house it was because the boxes of board games were 6 games deep on his windowsill, on his bay window at the front of the house.
Wow. Oh, they're just going to get sun bleached. That's just, you don't want that.
So I walked down going, I wonder which house it is. Oh, it's that one.
Interesting. I've never really thought about it.
I mean, I know some people say they some people maybe with more moral fibre than others. I don't know. Some people donate them or raffle them off or things like that. Charity,
done that
kind of
before
thing.
as well. There's been
review
copies that we don't want, and I've taken them to some of my local games cafes and just gone, there we go, let's put it back into circulation. So
we've run a few giveaways. They can benefit.
Yeah. And we've done giveaways, yeah. So
there's no right answer to this question, is there? Is it one of those? It's one of those, isn't it? That
somebody will take offence that we've sold some of these games.
Yeah.
Somebody will, but as I said, if you think we're making money out of this, you're very much mistaken. Right then, speaking of games, let's talk about some games we have been sent to review.
Yes. We haven't sold.
That we haven't sold, no. Let's start with a controversial game in our eyes because we got sent a solo game to review.
Oof.
Which is Halls of Hegra by Is it Tompet Games or is it Trompet Games? I can never remember.
Tompet, I think.
Tompet Games.
Tompet Games.
This is Peter Shankle Olsen, who also published Donning the Purple, which, if you're a long-term listener of this show, you will know we love Donning the Purple. Yes, fantastic 3-player game of backstabbing management, basically.
Can we play that at Airecon, please? I've still not played.
Yes, I can bring it up because I have it with the expansion, Rory. So I'd like to play.
No. I want to play it with 3.
Okay.
I don't want to play it with 4 until I've played it with at least 3. Anyway, sorry, Steve, carry on.
Yes.
Halls of Hegra.
So Halls of Hegra. So the latest game from the Donning the Purple makers is Halls of Hegra, which is a solo game about defending a Norwegian fort in World War II from invading Nazi Germans. Now, I think this game has done the rounds. It has been in, I think, everyone's house apart from Sid's. And we've struggled to play it because we have all come to the definitive conclusion we don't play solo games.
Unfortunately not.
So what happened was I said to Rory, right, we need to play this. Come over here and we'll co-op it. We'll basically play it solo, but we'll make all the decisions as if it were a co-op game. And so we managed to play it. Yep. And it worked quite well in that way. And in fact, I think that's the way I will always play solo games of any depth like this.
It's like you and I playing, God, what was it? That supposedly solo game that's miserable and set in a war. This War of Mine. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be exactly the same. So, in fact, this can be just as miserable, to be fair. So, Halls of Hegra, you're protecting this fortress against this invasion. You know the invasion's coming, so the game's set into like stages. I think it's 3 stages. Yes. The first stage is you are trying to build up the defences. You're trying to recruit people. You're trying to do supply runs to get food and recruit more people. You're also trying to dig out and repair sections of this base, which gives you more things to do. And it's effectively a worker placement. You get a bunch of troops of various types, and you place them in the different locations, and then you will run through in numerical order these locations to do things. And to begin with, they're relatively limited to what you can do. So it's basically recruit, it's repair, you can mount a defence, you can fire the anti-artillery guns, you can go and do runs, but you basically want to be doing this repair action, which gives you more places you can go. I think it's actually quite a clever worker placement system because you've got different types of troops. And although most troops can do everything, some work better in different places. So there's a management aspect of where you place things. In the second and third phase, the Germans attack and you're trying to stop the advance of the attack. So in the second phase, it's just troops coming up. And in the third phase, it's troops. You're being bombarded with shells and you're being bombed. And it's basically just... You've got to survive. And it still works on this whole worker placement system all the way through. Repair things, dig out things, upgrade, get your troops into your guns to fire shit down, get your troops into the defensive machine gun turrets to shoot down the advancing Germans. It's also very freaking hard.
Really hard.
We should have stopped playing like several turns before we actually... When me and Rory played it the first time, we ran right the way through to the end just to wait for the end game condition. But we could have stopped it like 20 minutes earlier because the amount of German troops that were just swarming into this, well, this one slowly chap was firing a pea shooter of a machine gun at them and just like, bink, knocking one off, bink, knocking another one off. And we thought, all right, we can handle this until the Germans got grenades, and then that was the end of us. Much as I don't like solo games, I actually thought design-wise there was a lot of clever things in this game. The planning of your raids, because you had to get troops out to try and bring supplies back in, which is this little map. So it's like almost like little mini games. This game, you've got the Germans advancing, you've got the map, you've got the hospital. We've got to keep on track, which feels a little bit like
that's a good way of thinking
hospital.
About it. Yeah, it's like little mini games, isn't it?
It's almost like little mini games, and I really liked like the raiding one where you had to try and carefully maneuver and balance what the German patrols, but. As a solo, because it's a solo game, I'm kind of just... It loses a lot of interest in me, but I would happily play this with someone else again, play it like a co-op.
I'd agree with that. I'd play this as a co-op because I think the thing I don't like about solo games is just kind of, and it sounds silly, it's like how one-sided it is. If I'm just getting a kick in from the game, it's not that the other player is doing particularly well. It really is just that I'm doing badly, or that's how it always feels, and it feels like I'm just being punished for the game not clicking. Whereas if I'm in a 2 or 3 or 4 player game and I'm not doing well, it's because the other people are doing it better than I am, and I don't like that feeling of I'm not doing a good enough job. And that's what I don't like. But in a 2-player game, I've got someone else to when you co-op this, I've got somebody else to blame. So when Steve and I are getting a kicking, it's not just me who's shit, it's us that are shit.
She's sharing the pain.
Sharing the pain, I'm sharing that bleakness out.
Nice.
And I think that's my problem with solo games generally. But as Steve said, playing this as a co-op, it is a really fascinating game. There's lots of things that were really interesting in this game, except how nasty and horrible and how much of a kicking we got.
See, I did play it solo on my own. And I just found it really boring. I mean, it was brutal. You're not wrong. It was brutally hard because I actually ended up stopping playing it because I just got bored. I got about halfway through, so I'd done all the little sort of resource recon you do in the first act to go and like dig, grenades and bullets out of ice holes and stuff across no man's land or whatever it is, across the valley. You get back, you have to distribute your people, and you start firing guns, and then they never stop, and then the Germans just overwhelm you, and that's pretty much where I stopped because I just got bored. It just didn't interest me. It wasn't exciting at all. It was just, go here, do this, I've got to defend this, I've got to defend this, I've got to defend, oh, that's broken, I'll go and fix that. And it just, to me, it didn't seem particularly, what's the word, intuitive's the wrong word, but it felt like I never really ever had a choice of things to do. There was always something I had to do. It's like I was just turning the handle.
Do you know, I know what you mean, and I think maybe in the early game I did feel like that. But I think as Steve and I progressed, we had that conversation, especially while we were packing it up, of going, we should have been doing this. We should have done this earlier. We should have been doing that instead of this. So we should have been, like, we concentrated a lot on doing the supply runs because we thought that was really important. What we didn't do early enough was repair, because we didn't know how important having the extra gunning stations were going to be in the later game. And it's one of those, we should have done this before, we should have done this earlier, we should have done this instead of that, we shouldn't have wasted so much time there. Yes, we were cranking the handle and just taking these almost obvious actions, but having played the game through, it's actually, we made some just bollocks decisions early on. We weren't really thinking about all of the options because we didn't really understand the game until we got to the end of it.
Yeah. See, to me, thematically, that doesn't make sense, because how would you know how many Germans are going to come through? Therefore, how would you know to fix the guns? If you were in a real situation, what would you do first? Because you wouldn't know how many Germans are coming. You wouldn't know how much.
No, but that's it. We still don't know how many Germans are coming, but we just didn't do any repairing because we didn't really understand how huge a benefit that is until much later in the game. Like when you do a repair, you can add new sections to your. You literally add new tokens to parts of your base.
Yeah. You turn
which then means when you do get bombed later on, that damage is going to get spread out over more locations, which means the really vital things have got less chance of being drawn out of the bag. But if you don't repair anything, those vital stations, well, they're the only things that are in the bag, which means you are going to lose your guns. You're going to lose this because that's all that's in the bag.
Hi. Well, it did not hold my attention, I'm afraid. I did not enjoy it.
I was getting very depressed by the end of the game.
Yeah.
I was just another, let's flip this card over, see what other ways this game's going to kick me in the nads.
It did have like a snowball effect as well, didn't it? Because once you started to lose the morale section, that morale just kept getting worse and worse and worse, which was like, oh, well, okay, so we're doing bad, which means a worse card comes out. So yeah, I mean, I like the design, but I kind of can't disagree with you guys. It's punishing, and it's a puzzle, and I do wonder what the longevity of it is as well. You know, will you get to the end of that puzzle and go, once you've beaten it, that's it, I've beaten it.
Yeah.
Once you've cracked the puzzle, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what I'm doing now. Yeah,
I wonder that. So yeah, not our normal cup of tea, and obviously not the most exciting of games in our opinion. Next on the list, I can't think of a good segue, sorry. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. Defending that Norwegian fort must have felt like descending into hell. And the next game we're going to talk about is Inferno, which involves shepherding souls into hell.
Oh, yes.
The 9 circles of hell.
The 9 circles of hell, indeed.
So this is based on Dante's Inferno, mixed with a little bit of Catholicism thrown in. So it's an interesting mix of a game. It's primarily, what would you say? It's kind of worker placement-ish.
Yeah, it's 100% worker placement. You take the little workers from your board and you put them onto the action slots on the main board. Worker placement.
It's a 2-tier worker placement, though, isn't it? Because your first tier. You're not having that, Rory.
Take that right off now. Because you are incorrect, as Steve has just demonstrated. So you get -1 for that.
The first tier of worker placements is moving a soul, which allows you to choose which area you're going to take an action in, and then you place your worker in one of these 4 areas, of which has 2 action spaces.
Okay.
No, it's 4. No, there's 4
yes,
symbols.
sorry,
4 symbols, which gives you a total of 8 actions.
Yes. It's more action selection, but anyway, we'll carry on. So the ultimate idea is that you need to move souls down. Yeah, you've got to basically go from this graveyard where all these people have died and therefore their souls have risen, and you escort them across the River Styx using Charon, and you pay them an amount of money, and they end up on one of these on the sort of the banks of the Styx, the purgatory bit, the entrance to hell. And the idea is you're supposed to escort them to a point in hell where they belong, because each of these little worker things has a particular colour or type, and each of the circles of hell is where they belong. So if you have a look at all the little artwork on each of the rows of hell, it corresponds to the type of naughtiness that they've done.
Yes, it took me a little while to notice. Each of these little minis, these little wooden meeples, have got the symbol carved out of their chest, which represents their layer.
Yes, there's lust, and there's murder, and there's goodness knows what else. It's really clever, but it takes a while to notice it, because it was only pointed out to me halfway through the game, especially with my dog eyes that couldn't tell 3 of the bloody colours apart, but never mind. Depending on how far they get, you can get in a certain number of points, assuming they get to their destination. Now, one of the clever things about this game is that you don't own the soul that is travelling through hell. So someone else could pick it up later and move it and get it to its destination. So you've got to be very, very careful. It's almost like a continuous game of chicken that's going on with like 100 different meeples trying to move these things through this sort of inverted cone.
Andy, don't labour this point. It really upsets Steve how many points I scored doing that.
Yeah, I did that too. It's really, and I won, funnily enough.
Right. Yeah. Just let's just skip over this part of the rules.
But it's integral to the game. But halfway through hell, you have a wall that you can't actually get a soul past. So you've got to buy a kind of a pass over this wall. And there's only certain positions where you can put these passes, and once you've got a pass, only you can move souls through that particular pass. No one else can. But if someone's got a pass somewhere else, only they can move their souls through those passes. So you've got to be very clever about where you put these things. And again, but only the same rule applies. You've got to move this soul as far as it can. And the further they go, basically, the more points they get. But you only get a certain number of workers to do this, so you can only take 4, I think it is, actions. But you can buy more minions during the game, which allow you to do particular actions as well, and they'll allow you to do more things on your turn. But you'll get to a point where you need to call them back, which is called... It's not inquisitions. Accusations, that's it. Which I thought was a really odd one. But essentially, you're basically blaming someone for all the bad shit in society. It's essentially the Catholics turn and go, "What's all this then? It's him, it's my guest in my tower, blame him." And they end up staying in this tower. And there's a little bit of resource management in there as well. So you end up buying a little resource that you can put in there. But you have guests, which are basically these workers that you can put in there. So you've got to manage where they go, because you've got a house and a guest tower. And you've got to take all of your workers out of your guest tower and put them into your house. So you can make sure that you can do all of the things. But there's a limited amount of space in this tower. So if you've got too much stuff in there, because you can have barrels of resource as well, you can't bring people into it, which means you can't do anything else. So it's quite tight, which is very clever, and I quite liked it. I did think, though, that a couple of the worker spaces at the top, the action spaces, were a little limited in scope. You only used them like once or twice in the game, because once you'd done, it was a bit like Rock Hard 1977. Once you'd done the one thing in the one space, you never used it again.
I made the exact same comparison when we first played this game.
Well, there you are.
Jesus Christ, you two are agreeing. What's going on?
I know.
But I then did change my
Click.
mind. I did then change my mind when we played it a second time. Because I felt the game was a little bit prescribed at first, that you're going to do these actions almost in this order to do this, to get this, essentially this flow of this flow of actions. But having played it all the way through once and then having played it again since, I realised in my second game, this game is a lot richer and a lot deeper than I first thought in my first game.
I also found that if you get resources at the beginning of the game, so you get like cards which give you a random starting resource, and there is like beginners cards and standard cards, and the difference between the resources of the beginners cards and the standard cards is a chasm. Because we played the first game, you use the starting cards, beginner's game, you go, okay, fair enough, I can do this. We went to the next game where we've got this like standard ones. It's like, well, hang on, I've got half as much stuff.
Yes.
So you ended up having to be really conservative with your actions. Getting a layer for your tower, for instance, was a big action now, because I didn't start with anything. Yeah. I started with a shed, basically, not a tower.
The stable. I wouldn't say it was prescribed. But
no, I don't think it is. I think this is the point. Once you play with the more advanced rules, I did feel that it wasn't prescribed, because you had so little to do. You had to think about every single maneuver. And I think one of the things I found really interesting was there's two currencies in the game. So you get drachmas and florins.
System, yeah.
That was a good system. Yeah.
And you need the drachmas to escort souls into limbo and start them descending into the hells. But you have to take an action to turn florins into drachma, and you have to take a different action to get florins. So the amount of times where you go, oh, I'm going to do this turn, and go, no, I'm not. I'm going to take this action because I desperately need drachma for next round.
Yeah.
But it was like you didn't have to do it, because you might have been able to move a soul that was already in hell, but you often did, because it gave you more choices. If you had a drachma and could bring a new soul in, it gave you a lot more visibility of what you're doing.
That was very expensive to do, because there's only so many spaces. I mean, there's quite a lot of them on the banks of the Styx, but still there's only a limited number of spaces, and there's only each little space has a corresponding symbol to the action that you've done, or the area of the action you've done. So that means the action that you do is very, very important as to which soul you can move, or action you can do, whichever way around you do it, to be able to move the correct soul. And a lot of the time you find, I'd like to do this action. There's nowhere I can put a bloody soul, so I can't do it. This is really
and that
annoying.
Is the beauty of this game is you go, I need to do this action, which means I need, so the way the boards works, you've got quadrants, aren't they? So you have two actions next to the ram. So it's I need a ram action. I need to move a soul to a ram action. Where can I do that in the cheapest possible way without giving Steve points next turn?
Yes.
And trying to find that is so hard sometimes. And go, right, no, I'm going to have to do this other thing instead. And this constant pivoting. But you always, and the thing I really liked about this game, and I only liked it a little bit because I'm rubbish at it, is planning ahead. This turn, I want to take this action. Next turn, I need to take this action. Is there anywhere I can set myself up to get that?
Without somebody else seeing it as well.
Without someone else seeing it, and the ability to try and plan ahead. If you can plan more than 2 turns ahead in this, I think you're a certifiable genius. It was so important, and it's so hard to try and do this and manipulate the board so it does that. And then you've got the Guardians. The Guardians, I think, are a fascinating aspect in this game. So every game you've got essentially a black Guardian and a red Guardian card, which introduce essentially monsters into the game. So the first game, it suggests using Minos and Medusa. and certain actions will allow you to manipulate a guardian. So which means you get to, a Medusa will walk around and start turning souls to stone statues, which means they don't move any further, but they then fill up a slot on that board, in that circle. Minos allows you to piggyback. So I was like, Steve's collecting lots of green souls, doing lots of greed or whatever it is. So I'm going to piggyback. Every time Steve scores for greed, I will also score for greed now as well.
That was a very useful action, because that deterred quite a lot of people putting souls in play. So, not again. I'm giving you 2 points. 2 points. I'm just, yes, thank you very much.
And then those are just the base ones. We played yesterday with the Greydon, which is essentially a harpy type creature, which was putting
that was so annoying.
Just dick
that
move.
That was just the dick move, Guardian.
Nice.
Basically, it put pit. So one thing we haven't described is there's 2 ways of scoring points in this game. Which the first one is getting souls into location. The other one is when you accuse, you go up on these 8 tracks at the bottom, and you get a score based on your position on the track times a multiplier. If you have ticked off that track.
Yes, if you've got a degree, a
diploma.
But you can only get diplomas in half at a time, so it's quite hard to get them onto there, because each one you get half a diploma and you have to get 2 of them to make a full one before you can put it on.
Or be at the top of the track when Dante gets to that level, which is like the main way you're going to get them, which is fiercely competitive. Anyway, one of the things the game does, it has this multiplier. So it's your space on this track times the multiplier. But at the end of the game, you reduce the multipliers by the number of slots which don't have souls on them.
So if you haven't filled up the greed circle of hell, greed becomes worth less at the end of the game. So you're desperately trying to fill it up and get up on this track.
And the harpy, what was the name? What was the actual name of the creature?
The Graydon.
The Graydon basically cock blocks all of these soul slots, and they get removed after you can fill them back in.
Oh, that's
so basically,
harsh.
Rory just filled it. I'd gone for the pink row. I was up on the track. I'd got my diploma. I was bouncing up the track using all my resources and special actions to get there. And Rory just moved this thing there and just smegged it and just made it worth 3 points at the end of the game.
Nice, well played.
Which was just
nice.
When you're trying to get around about 100 points, 75 to 100 points, 3 points is not good.
It's an absolutely fascinating game.
It's a really cool game design. I've got to admit, it's really clever. The first time you played, the first half hour, you're like, none of these actions make any sense. Why would I want to do any of these?
It felt quite bitty that first half hour, didn't it? It was like, it felt everything was kind of not joined up properly. That there wasn't really that thematic flow between this action does this and this does this. But after you get the swing of this game, it's a brilliant brain burn.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic brain burn, this game.
It's a really clever game.
Yeah. I don't think the rules are too heavy, but the thinking space is heavy. The amount of times me and Rory just stopped and just looked at the board and went... And in fact, the last time we played, the amount of times we had to actually stop mid-action, because I'm going to go, right, I'm going to move that soul there, which means I can take the ram action, which means I can put my perker there. No, I can't, because that needs an urchin work, and I don't have an urchin worker, so let me rewind all that.
You have to rescind all your turn
there, and I go over there, which requires a florin. Shit, I don't have any florins. Let's rewind that.
I was really impressed by this game, and I was really interested about how my flow of this game has changed. My thoughts on this game has changed. Started playing it, I felt it's really disjointed. It felt really bitty. By the end of the first game, I'm like, that was good. I was telling Steve the following day, I found myself just thinking really in depth about it. I'm like, actually, lying somebody down, getting somebody into like the mid to lower tiers of hell, that's like 5% of my total score. So that's what I'm going to do when I play Steve tonight. I'm just going to concentrate on getting these people in the right locations.
It's the way to do it.
It's fascinating. But I think there is also a lot of value in the other method, the end game scoring as well. Those getting up on those tracks.
Yeah.
And
those as well. So, there's about 4, I think, ways of scoring, because there's end game cards, which you need wine barrels for, which is another way to score points and get
need
bonuses.
a type of barrel for.
But there's 4 types, and each card will require you to have one type. You've got the area control of the tracks at the bottom. You've then got the getting the souls to the locations as well. So there's at least 3. I think there's a 4th way.
There's end game scoring based on like who has the highest tower and who has the most
That's
family
right,
members
yes,
at
as well.
home,
There's
how
all
many
of those.
florins.
They are, four ways.
Really, really good game. I have one criticism though.
What is it, Steve?
It's really
It's a controversial one. No, I don't think it's petty.
Okay.
Now, the designers are adamant that this game does not include AI artwork.
Right.
I call shenanigans
Oh.
because I am convinced that 99% of the artwork in this game is AI. All the things you see in the circles of hell, all the monster art for these guardians, it just, to me, it screams AI. I think what's happened is they've done some AI and then they've edited it afterwards to unify them a bit. As I said, on BGG, this criticism has come up, and Red Mojo Games, who make the game, who are the designers, have said there is no AI artwork in it. But to me, it really screams AI, which I don't know. It's not a deal breaker for me because it is a good game, and most of the game is actually graphic design, which has been is properly drawn. But I'm a little bit disappointed that publishers do this personally, but that's my own personal take on it.
Interesting. Well, a positive has come out of it as well. I ended up buying Dante's Inferno, and I'm reading it.
Similar to that, I'm really interested. The designer of this is Fernando Eduardo Sanchez, which I think is my now favourite board game designer name. He had 2 games come out in 2024, both quite heavyweight games. The other one is Through Ice and Snow, which is about essentially like a grimdark adventure game as you're trying to discover the British Empire needs to find a new naval trade route through Asia, thus launches many expeditions to the Arctic in order to find the Northwest Passage. It's rated a 3.15. And I was like, I quite like how heavy and intricate that game was, so I'm tempted to kind of see if I can get my hands on Through Ice and Snow to check that out as well.
So you're not tempted to go get the old video game from the noughties?
Inferno. No, what's that video
Dante's
game?
Inferno. It was like not a beat 'em up, but that kind of third-person action slasher, which you played like an overly muscly Dante battle himself through the 9 circles of hell.
That's sticking to the source material right there, when he's basically just on a jaunt guided by Virgil. But anyway.
I can't hear the word Inferno without thinking of coupling. And I'm going to leave it at that, because anything else I say is not going to be appropriate for this
Coupling.
podcast.
Well, I can't remember Inferno in Coupling. I used to love that show.
Right then, moving on then, gents.
See? I told you.
I have to Google that.
Mr. Gill,
Hello.
you haven't spoken since we talked about pancakes.
As you have been talking about Infernos and the layers of the tiers of hell, we can come back into Arthurian legends, where there are beasts and monsters and whatnot. It's a very bad segue, but I'm going to carry
that's
it on.
fair said. It's no worse than mine. So,
But
I think you're fine.
but where we are is I would like to talk about Pendragon, which is a little RPG that we've all been playing through, and it's all about being an Arthurian knight.
It should be clear we've been playing the starter set. Not
We
the
have
full
played
game,
this.
haven't we?
Yes, we've been working our way through the starter set specifically, because I think there was it was a little bit of a kind of, our group was really intrigued by Pendragon. I think partly due to its setting of knights and monsters and kind of chivalry, but also it was we're going through a bit of a trying new RPG game systems, and they're new to us, I should say, because Pendragon has been around for many years, and I think this is the 7th edition or 6th edition. 7th. I'm going to tip up at 7th.
I thought it was 6th. Yeah, it's 6th edition.
Is it 6th? Have I jumped ahead? I've jumped ahead.
You jumped ahead.
So it's the 6th edition of Pendragon that we've been playing through, and with the 6th edition came a new starter set, and that's what
So 3 of us have played this that are on the podcast now, as well as some of our RPG chums. And this was with pre-made characters, like starter set, you don't make any characters. So you've got a plethora of characters to choose from. And it all started with basically the Sword and Stone story, didn't it? We rocked up to a tourney to find out who's going to be king. Then some little rapscallion pulled some sword out of a stone. And then the next thing you know, we're trying to protect the sword from pit
Baddies.
invaders. And then I missed the last session because I was really, really ill. And
Yes.
couldn't get out of bed. So I don't know what happened. I don't even know how the story ended.
It was a big fight.
Oh, yeah, we had a war, kind of.
We had a big fight.
War. And now, as I said, I missed the last session, so it can be a bit difficult to describe how this game works. But I was very much overwhelmed by the character sheet in this game.
It was not the best organised.
I was overwhelmed by the whole game, let alone the character
Really?
sheet.
So even veterans like you, RPG veterans, were overwhelmed by this game and the character sheet.
It's not because it's heavy. It's because it was really badly organised.
Well, it little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Organised. None of it made bloody sense. It didn't flow. The character sheet didn't flow. At least it wasn't particularly well explained. Some of it was clever, but trying to find one aspect of your character sheet was actually quite hard. If you're like, what's this? Oh, well, where is it? 3 pages down.
The basic mechanic was quite simple. You roll a d20 and I have to get under your stat.
Yes.
That was it.
Okay.
But there are 3 different stat types. And in 3 different areas of your character sheet. So Sid would say, like, oh, you need to make an honour roll. And everyone would spend the next 3 minutes going, where's honour?
Where's my honour?
Which bit's honour? Which bit's that in? Because you've got like basic stats, which are like your physical stats, like how strong you are and how good you are with the sword. And then there was like this really, which was actually quite clever, this kind of personality stats, which were balanced. So you have honour and, I can't remember the exact ones, but it's like honour and dishonour. So like if you were strong in honour, you'd be weak in dishonour. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which was really clever. It was your virtues. It's supposed to be what your personality was good at. And then there was a whole different section with combat stats on the character sheet. And then there was other things like your horse stats. The amount of times we rolled the horse stats because we couldn't find out our normal stats. Because of course we're knights, we've all got a horse.
Yeah.
Somehow we could run across a field like lightning rather than...
But I think the thing that I think we all really enjoyed about the characters was that you did have this kind of dice-based traits kind of mechanic. So normally in RPG, right, you can do whatever you want, right? And you can be as much of a good person or as a bad person, really yourself managed. You have to be disciplined enough to follow your character, right? Pendragon goes a little bit further and it allows you to roll against your virtues and your characteristics, kind of honor, dishonor things. So if you try and resist that, then you can take a penalty for it. So it was a really interesting way of encouraging roleplay and also leaving roleplay to a little bit of chance. So you could try and rebel against your natural disposition, or you would just follow it. So it's quite. I think it's a really clever system. But I found it particularly challenging to run.
Let's get to the crook of this. Why did you find it challenging to run, Sid?
Because the starter set is badly structured and badly organised with inconsistent rules that don't match the core rulebook. It's full of mistakes.
Yeah.
What happened was we had the starter set, which Sid had a physical copy of, and we got hold of copies of the rulebook as well. So people could cross-reference the rules. And Sid would say, this is how this rule works. And then I'd go, hang on, I've got the quick start. It's written different in the quick start.
And I've got
And then
core-
somebody
And then someone
else
else would go,
That's
I've
somebody
got the
says
rule
it.
book. It's written different again in here. I think there was one particular one where
It was
like
the
you roll a
getting
D20.
damaged. It was when you got damaged. One said you have to roll under. One said you have to roll equal to or under. One said if you take something like that. It was when you got knocked out of critical injury, essentially.
Yeah, one said roll under, one said roll at or under, and one said you had to roll at or over. So it was really stupid.
Precisely
It was like,
precisely that.
Precisely.
That was, that's
Precisely
weird.
that.
Yes.
So 3 different rule books for the same game system had 3 explanations for the same rule.
Depending on whether you're looking at the starter, quick
start.
quick start, or full rulebook.
Yeah. I also had another problem, which Sid really struggled with, in that the starter set introduced its own rules. which aren't part of the main game. So the first tourney we go to, there's this whole system about rolling your honor.
No, we found that.
Did you find that?
We found that. So that was the morale. So the session you missed, it finally clicked and it became relevant.
Yeah.
Up to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you're in a battle, morale counts quite a lot. You can basically do enough stuff as long as your morale doesn't run out, at which point everyone runs out of morale and cheeses it because they've had enough.
So that throwaway comment in one of the first parts of the starter set that you encounter is in Appendix B for Battle, which is not introduced to you till the last act of that part of the starter set.
Oh my God!
See, it's badly
and is it in the main rulebook?
Yes.
I think it was eventually. I think we did find it eventually, but
let's cut to the chase. We've got around here. I was really disappointed in this starter set. We had fun. We had fun playing the characters. We had fun role playing. We even had fun when we got the mechanic and the virtues to work. We had fun. We struggled with the combat. We struggled with the character sheets, and we got really pissed off by rules in that starter set which did not appear to be in the main rulebook. I rescind that if it was after that last session, but badly explained rules halfway through. I think this starter set failed as a starter set.
I don't think you're going to find any challenge from me on that, because this made my head hurt trying to get my head around how to run it and how to play it. There wasn't enough work to not enough. The examples of things you were trying to do were not detailed enough in particular areas for somebody that was brand new to the game. And a starter set, as much as I don't think you should hold your hand entirely, should give you the right bits of information, maybe a worked example or two, to allow even the most inexperienced person to run that game. And I don't think this starter set does.
That's a shame.
I also think it was a bit thin on content. We played it in what?
Three or 4
sessions?
sessions? Yeah, something like that. I know that, but to be fair, that's only 1 year of 3.
So we only played a third of the starter set.
We played a third of the starter set.
Right. Okay. So we didn't even play the full thing.
So
okay.
we played 3 acts roughly, which is what the first year of the game breaks down into.
Right. Okay. I rescind that then.
I think it's a really interesting system, and I still want to play more of it. But I don't think it's a good starter set to experience.
I'm with you, Sid. I want to play the big boy version. I want to get a character, get the main rulebook and make a character. So hopefully that will teach me where the things are in the character sheet. And having seen what other people talk about this game, I'm really intrigued to see what a full game of this was. But I think as a starter set to teach me that game and get me started, I was really disappointed by it.
Yeah, I feel very similarly.
I can't disagree with anything you guys have said. I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as you two did. I found it clunky, slow, and just generally, not just because of the starter set. It seemed to be trying to request something of the players that the rulebook didn't permit. And this is the full rulebook, not the starter set rulebook. It seemed to try to have things light and airy and breezy and accessible, but then weighed it all down with tons of different rules and tables and other bits of stuff that just seemed to get in the way all the time. And it just seemed to be, it wanted one thing but didn't provide it.
So I think that's really interesting observation, because I think you're right, and I think the combat particularly jarred in our group. I think the narrative sections where we were exploring the characters and playing the characters and role playing the characters worked really well. I think a lot of our group really loved that, really got on with it. I think the fact that you could challenge your characters' kind of default traits, or you could go with them, that also played really well narratively into people's gameplay. I think where our group really, the anchor seemed to slam on is as soon as we hit a combat encounter. And part of that was because we were learning it, part of it was because we were chugging through the complexity of the conflicting rules and all that. So I've got to be a bit reasonably fair to it. but it just felt like that's where the open kind of free-flowing narrative story that Pendragon seemed to want to produce just hit a ton of roadblocks of rule after rule after rule of tables and matching dice rolls with who did what when. And I'm with Andy on it. I didn't gel with that. I think when you compare this to other starter sets out there, like the Dune one, for example, or an Alien one, where it just broke it down. It brought that story alive with the rules that were just enough to get you going, to get you started, to get you to want more. Weirdly, the starter set doesn't want me to play more Pendragon. I want to play more Pendragon because I don't think I got the full flavour of what Pendragon is from the starter set.
You want to play more in spite of the starter set rather than because of it.
Yeah,
that's an interesting way of putting it.
That's a really good way of putting it. Is I was hoping the starter set would kind of sate my urge to play Pendragon, and it hasn't. It's made me want to play the proper rule book because I don't think I got the experience I felt I should have done from the starter set of what Pendragon is.
Is this like a second edition? Is Pendragon been around for a while?
Sixth edition.
Sixth edition, right? Okay.
Somebody wasn't paying attention earlier.
No.
Yeah, I got it wrong about 5 times, and then we eventually settled on the 6th. And I think a little bit of that might the age of the system might be coming into it, possibly. Our inexperience of the system is probably coming into it, but then equally the starter set shouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, starter set should have resolved that and held you by the hand and got you going.
Yes. So yeah, a bit of a miss on that one.
No, I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to settle on a miss.
Oh.
I think I think it sums it up. You summed it up perfectly for me. I want more of it. I want to explore the system, and with the starter set, because we were kind of wanting to review it. I did stick quite faithfully to what was in the starter set. If I were to go back and play it again now, I would play a very, very different Pendragon. I think I would slacken off on the combat a little bit and allow our group would have enjoyed the story and let them play the story. I mean, we should say that Pendragon is really an interesting concept because it's almost a multi-generational game when you allow it to play properly, because it's a game that runs over years and years and 10s and 20s and 30s of years. So you may end up starting as a particular knight or nobleman or whatever you want to call it, and then suddenly in a couple of sessions time you might be having kids and getting married or whatever, and suddenly playing your child. And I think there is an incredibly rich concept behind Pendragon that we haven't touched on it yet. So I want to go back and I want to play more, but I won't be playing the starter set again. And I wouldn't recommend the starter set personally to somebody new to the game. I don't think it gives you the right feeling.
Right then, folks, thank you ever so much for listening. We have been Polyhedron Collider, back to our normal, non-special podcasts.
This is a Pancake Day special.
Pancake Day special, of course.
Every podcast we make is special.
Yeah.
And not in a good way.
Anyway, if you have enjoyed listening, please give us a review on iTunes or your podcast platform of choice. And don't forget, we are available all over the internet on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Board Game Geek Guild 2726, and of course the Discord server, which there is a link to below. Sorry, in the show notes, not below. Well, unless you're on YouTube, then it is below. So yeah. Sorry, we're out of practice, aren't we? Anyway, happy gaming.
Ta-ra!
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.
What a horse's arse.